parallelogram. The next piece is, if I gave you a quadrilateral, how would you prove that it is a parallelogram? So I gave you a huge box at the top to summarize everything that you just did. So all of those theorems that we just got done discussing, the converse of that is how you would prove if it's a parallelogram. For example, I can show that it's a parallelogram by showing that both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. I can prove it by showing both pairs of opposite sides are congruent by theorem 6-8. I can prove that an angle is supplementary to both of its consecutive angles by theorem 6-9. I can prove that both pairs of opposite angles are congruent by theorem 6-10. I can prove that the diagonals bisect each other, and that's theorem 6-11. And you can also prove that one pair of opposite sides is congruent and parallel. So that one's a little bit different than what we've had. But notice that these 5 here are all theorems. I did not put those on your note-taking guide because this box just summarizes what you need to do. So if I'm going to prove that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, it has to fit one of those things. So that's what this bottom section is all about. So let's look at the first row, and then I'll have you try the second row. So on the first problem, it has you giving a parallelogram, and then notice the tick marks so that my opposite sides are congruent. So yes, it would be a parallelogram, and my explanation would just be both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Number 2, I see that I have opposite angles congruent. Well, that matches that, notice that in your, fourth one down, it says both pairs of opposite angles have to be congruent. So in this case, my answer would be no, because in that fourth one, it has to be both of them, just not one set. And then number 3, I have one set of parallel sides, and I have that same set congruent. That fits that very last piece in that summary box. So my answer would be yes, one pair of opposite sides is congruent and parallel. So now I would like for you to try the bottom row and see if you can get them right. So on the bottom row, number 4, I see that I have my diagonals bisecting each other. That's what these tick marks are saying. So this would be yes, because the diagonals are bisecting each other, which is theorem 6-11. Number 5, now notice that we have the opposite angles parallel and both pairs, so this one would also be yes, because both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. And then last, number 6, notice we have both pairs of opposite sides are parallel, and that is also yes, and that's by the definition of a parallelogram. So both pairs of opposite sides would be parallel for that last piece. Okay, so at this point we've just covered 6.2 and 6.3, which is talking about parallelograms. So if you still have any questions, please let me know so that I may help you, otherwise start on your assignment.